A very happy and cheerful morning to all my dear students. I hope you all are fine at home and taking care of your health. So we're back with our social studies class. And if you remember, in the last class, we started with our first chapter in history, that is chapter number 1, an approach towards the past. Okay? Now first, we will quickly revise whatever we learned in the previous class. So what did we learn? Number 1, what is it? Knowledge gained from the study of past is called history. If we want to study history and we don't know the meaning of it, then what's the point? अगर हम हिस्ट्री पढ़ रहे हैं तो हमें उसका मीनिंग भी पता होना चाहिए. So जो नॉलेज हमें गेन होती है पास्ट के बारे में पढ़ के, that is your history. The people who describe the past are known as historians. Then we studied about the importance of history. That is knowledge about the kings and the leaders. When we study history, what happens? We gain knowledge about the kings and the palaces that were there thousands of years ago. To understand the past and the present, to understand and to compare the past and the present situation. That is why we have to learn. It guides them to not make the same mistakes, so that we don't repeat the mistakes what we had done in the past. What we have to do, हमें history पढ़ना चाहिए. Okay, even in our exams or if we score less, what we do, हम पास्ट में देखते हैं हमसे क्या मिस्टेक्स हुई थी, क्या हमने अच्छे से नहीं प्रिपेयर किया था. So that mistakes we try not to repeat. Then to understand the continuous development of human beings, हमें टाइम टू टाइम चेक करना चाहिए कि ह्यूमन बींग्स का कितना डेवलपमेंट हुआ है. Where have we reached? Where have our development reached? Then the division of the past. We had started with the division of the past, that is the prehistory period. We had already done, and today we will discuss about the history period. So let's go. So in the last class, as we had discussed, that the history is divided into two, that is prehistory and history. So what was prehistory? That part of the history which has no written records. ऐसा टाइम जिसका हमारे पास कोई रिटन प्रूफ या एविडेंस नहीं है. आई गेव यू द एग्जाम्पल दैट इज ऑफ द monkeys that developed, the apes that developed into humans. So initially क्या था, my planet में क्या था कि human beings हमारी तरह normally developed नहीं थे. They used to look like animals and धीरे धीरे वो develop हुए, 2 years, nose, proper body and then complete human beings बने. अब इसका हमारे पास कोई written proof नहीं है, right? Similarly, when was the wheel invented? Wheel कब invent हुई? We know that it was invented by someone. We don't even know who exactly invented it. But हमने सिर्फ इसके बारे में सुना है. That is, we have no written proof or date of it. So that is your prehistory period. Now, let's watch the video.
Prehistory. It is the period of human development when writing had not been invented and human beings did not know how to read and write. Hence, there are no written records for this period. We can know prehistory only through archaeology. To understand prehistory, archaeologists dig deep into the ground and collect remains of the past. These archaeological remains like tools, coins, bones, pots and jewelry help us to know about the past. History. It is the period for which written records are available. This covers the time period after the invention of writing. Early writing was done on the barks of birch trees, clay tablets, palm leaves, copper plates and rock pillars.
So In the initial stage, that is initially you saw the slides that there was some written scriptures, okay, that is of Ramayana and Mahabharata. So why was it? Because see, prehistory period में क्या था? There was no written proof. But in the history period, we have the written proof, we have the evidence that yes, this happened in the past. Okay, I gave the example of Mahabharata. We have the book of it. Okay, so we know what happened during the Mahabharata. Who was Arjun? Who was Draupadi? So all this we know because we have the written proof of it. That comes under the history period.
Sources of history. The difficult question now is how we can know about something that took place thousands of years ago. A very simple answer to this difficult question is that we learn about the past from the remains which people of that period have left behind. By studying these remains, archaeologists and historians tell us what might have happened in the past.
So what is the difficult question? That we want to know about the history, what exactly happened, but how to know it? So that we can know it through the sources of history. As I told you about Mahabharata and Ramayana, how can we gain information about it? रामायण में क्या हुआ था? What happened with Sita? So हमें ये sources के through पता चलता है. Okay, so these Ramayana books, these mythological books, these are what? These are the sources of history. Now the sources of history are also divided into two. Let's see that.
Sources of history. Archaeological, non-written. Artifacts, monuments, coins, inscriptions. Literary, written. Religious literature, secular literature.
So this is the division of the sources of history. What is it? Archaeological, that is not written. ऐसे sources जो written में नहीं हैं. And literary are the written sources. Now you might be thinking, literary से तो हमें पता चल सकता है because हमने उन books में से read कर लिया that this and this happened in the past. But what about these archaeological sources? जब हमारे पास written proofs है ही नहीं, written proof ही नहीं है, so how will we gain information about it? So there are monuments, there's artifacts. Artifacts we'll learn now. What is it? It's a new word for you. Then coins and inscriptions. So during the past time, what happened? The coins were different. These monuments also, on the walls, they used to write things. अब पास में उनके पास तो अपनी तरह books नहीं थी. There was no paper also. So they used to write on these inscriptions, on the monuments. So now we'll watch the video and we'll get an idea of it.
Sources of history are divided into two broad groups: archaeological sources, literary sources. Archaeological sources. Archaeological sources are direct evidences. They have a significant effect on the writing of history. They cannot be changed or altered by human beings. They are physical evidences that are available.
So what is the first one? Archaeological sources. Now what is it? They are direct evidences. आपको clear direct evidences हैं because हमें दिख रहा है. See, what we see, we believe it. Until and unless we don't have any evidence about it, how will we believe it? So these sources are direct evidences and they have a significant effect on the writing of history. That is, they have very important effect. They cannot be changed or altered by human beings. Again, I'll give the example of Ramayana. You cannot simply make changes in it. You cannot change the characters, the story of it because it has been written, it has been witnessed by people. हम अपनी मर्जी से इस हिस्ट्री में चेंजेस नहीं ला सकते because we have the written proof of it. They are physical evidences.
Artifacts. The objects of different kinds made by humans in the past are called artifacts. For example, things like metal objects, pottery, tools, ornaments, jewelry, weapons, and sculptures. They give us important clues and help us in understanding the cultural life of the past. The objects found at Harappa and Mohenjo-daro throw light on the developmental aspect of that age. Harappa and Mohenjo-daro are 4,000 years old cities along the banks of River Indus.
Yes. Now we're studying about artifacts. A new word for you, you can underline it. So what was written? The objects of different kinds made by the humans in the past are called what? Artifacts. Now see, in the past time, as the example is given of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. Now this is also a new thing for you. About Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, you will learn in detail. Okay? So for now, what you need to know is, past में क्या होता था? The clay material which was used. अब जो हमारी crockery होती है आजकल, right? The cups that we use for drinking tea, all those bowls and dishes. So that was not the same in the past time. Okay? वो किससे बनाते थे? वो clay से बनाते थे, वो मिट्टी से बनाते थे. Now these are what? These are the evidences of the past. कि हमारे जो ancestors हैं, उनका lifestyle कैसे था? How they used to eat, what were the things they used to use for eating also, for serving, spoons कैसी होती थी उनकी? So all these are what? These are artifacts and they are also the evidences of history.
Monuments. Old buildings, ruins of old buildings, temples, stupas, mosques, tombs, caves, palaces and old settlements which are historically important and provide important information of our past heritage are called monuments. The archaeological excavations at Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, Kot Diji, Ropar, Mehergarh and several other sites have proved that a plant civilization existed in the Indus Valley 5,000 years ago.
Yes. Now if we talk about the monuments, I'm sure you have heard this word, right? Monuments के बारे में आपने सुना है. So there is a beautiful big, see, I'll show it again. See, these are the monuments. There are so many famous monuments like Taj Mahal is there. See, old settlements, stupas are there. So what are these? They are the monuments. And these, the archaeological excavations at Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, Kot Diji, Ropar, Mehergarh and several other sites have proved that a plant civilization existed in the Indus Valley 5,000 years ago. So this Indus Valley civilization was 5,000 years ago. Imagine what was there at that time? कोई टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं थी, कोई वॉशिंग मशीन्स नहीं थी. So how they used to wash their clothes? What food they used? So अगर आप इसके बारे में डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे इंडस वैली के बारे में, so you'll come to know that in spite of being 5,000 years old, still उनका बहुत ही systematic और beautifully planned civilization था. Okay, so this is about Indus Valley civilization. So I think we should keep it till here, okay, and the remaining topics we will do in the next class. So now it's time for a short worksheet which I'll show you very quickly. See, answer the following in short. So what you have to do? See, you have to write the questions in the notebook and also the answers. That is related to our video only. In how many parts is the sources of history divided? Name them. Explain in short about the archaeological sources. What are the coins made up of in past? Write the meaning of monuments. So children, try to understand these questions and answer it in your books. If you have any doubts, please feel free to contact me during the school hours. So let's keep it till here. Next time we'll meet. So God bless you all. Goodbye.